Hello, everybody. This is Luca from 1851 Franchise, and I'm here with Matt Esterline from FranServe. Matt, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm doing good. To start, could you kind of give us a little rundown on your background and maybe introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I've been with FranServe now for about 6 years. Been a consultant and in the role of finding and matching people to franchises. But prior to that, I spent 30 years with Domino's Pizza. I was a franchisee with them for 23 years. I spent a total, like I said, of 30 years in their system. Started as a driver, worked my way up, became a franchise owner in 1992. Sold my last in 2015. Along the way, I also owned a bicycle shop. And when I became a consultant in 2015, it was a great relief in a lot of ways. I loved franchising and I loved the role of being the owner there. But there's a lot less moving parts now as a consultant. So I get to work from home. And so that's what I'm doing. And I also worked with Alicia at FranServe as a trainer. I helped her train several of her new consultants in teaching classes, mentoring, the whole bit, interviewing people that were potentially going to be consultants. And so my experience basically since 1985 has been consistently in one capacity or another as a in franchising. And I also did work for a franchisee as well, way back in the beginning before I became a franchisee. So I got a chance to actually be involved as an employee of a franchisee, work for a franchisor, Domino's Pizza, and then became a franchisee. So it's been a great ride. It helps me when I speak to people to be able to speak about the actual real life experiences.
Yeah, definitely. That's great. That's awesome. All right, so to dive into our questions here, the first one is, what would you say makes you successful as a franchise broker?
I think everybody wants to measure themselves and set goals based on deals or total dollars at the end of the year. And certainly, it's in the back of my mind. I would be lying if I said it wasn't. But actually, I think one of the things that's really helped me to stay grounded and to kind of stay out of any ups and downs emotionally or otherwise is to kind of set all my goals based on systems. And that being examples of systems being things that I use to capture candidates and get them on the phone, things that I say to them and how I interact with them, the content of all the things that I send out, whether it's a text or an email, my drip campaigns, my relationships with franchisors. So my getting back to the original part of this is my goals are set based on improving systems, upgrading processes, and staying away from watching the scoreboard. It's really easy to look and see, well, we've closed this many deals or we've got this many deals in the pipeline. It's all great, but it's not always a measure of your success. So to me, success is based on how well I am actually practicing my business. So those are my goals. The other thing that I think is extremely important is measuring yourself, not just in terms of knowledge, but in terms of wisdom. Knowledge preaches and speaks, wisdom listens. And I think that in our job, in our industry, you have to be wise. You have to listen all along the way, whether it's to your candidates or whether it's to a franchisors. And then lastly is I think our role as consultants and maybe even as human beings is to help ourselves and others rethink things. Sometimes we get stuck in stereotypes or we have a preset notion of something. And if we can listen and interact with people, I think we can all rethink situations and then we can make changes that are positive. So those are the things that really kind of that I work on every day to try to, 1% at a time, if you will, make myself better.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great answer. Speaking on the franchisee candidate side, what advice do you have for people who are wanting to become a franchise owner for the first time?
Yeah, I guess I've been there, and I think the biggest thing is realize this is a marathon. you're going to come in and own a business, and that's the aspiration, obviously, from the very beginning. Want to be my own business owner, want to control my destiny, all of those things that we all want when we own a business. But I think too often we come from the background of that. We're measuring results quickly. We're not taking large enough sample sizes to realize what success really is. This is a marathon, and we're going to have peaks and valleys. As a business owner, you have to look at yourself as how you're doing, not only in the first 6 months, but the first 6 years, and not get too wrapped up in things that occur on a day-to-day basis, because it's a marathon. The other thing, and I probably, I'm not ranking these are just kind of in just as I put them down, but this is extremely important. And as a franchisee, I can't tell you how many times I did this, but lean on the other franchisees. You've got in a system anywhere from 50 to say 200 franchisees. At Domino's, we had over 1,000, which was just a horrendous number, but it doesn't matter if there's only 10 franchisees. Lean on those other people. They are doing the same thing you're going to be doing. They have fought the fights. They have learned from their mistakes. And I would tell you that relationship with a fellow franchisee is not only going to help your business, but it's just going to make you happier. And it's a lot of fun to sit across the table from somebody and have dinner or whatever and learn what they've done. And you can in turn help them and pay it forward. Thirdly, I guess, and this is an obvious one, but I have to state it. You got to follow the ZOR. I mean, the franchisor has built this system. They've made the mistakes. They've corrected things. They've put things in place. Stay with the plan. If you're going to deviate, speak to them about that as why. Maybe you can help create something within the franchise that would make it better, but you have to stick with what they've invented. Otherwise, there's no point being a franchisee. And lastly, I would say you're betting on yourself. You're not betting on even on the ZOR necessarily, or those other franchisees. You're betting on yourself. You're putting your money down and your time into this because you believe in yourself. And you have to remember that it's about you and it's about your performance. Don't point fingers at other people when things don't go well, and don't take all the credit when they do. It's about betting on yourself. So those are the main things. I mean, there's others, but when it comes to the day-to-day life of being a franchisee and being a business owner, those are the things that I think are probably the top 4 or 5 that are most important.
Yeah, those are all great points. You mentioned the franchisor. Speaking of the franchisor side, what advice do you have for franchisors who are wanting your help on awarding more franchisees?
Yeah, this is an interesting question, and I've had some very good relationships with ZOR's founders, actually, which is really a lot of fun to get to know the person that actually founded it. I mean, obviously, I'll use Domino's as another example. I never really had a relationship with Tom Monahan. He had founded it 25 years prior to me even getting on board with him, and that's fine. But as a consultant, you get to build relationships. But what I think what's most important is excitement. There has to be excitement to work from both sides. The franchisor has got to appreciate and be excited about working with a consultant, and vice versa. The consultant has to respect and be excited about working with a franchisor. And everybody kind of locks horns on occasion, or maybe has different opinions about how things should proceed. One of the things I've always told franchisors is it's your choice. If you don't like my candidate, if they're not going to be good for you, I understand. It's not going to hurt my feelings. Yeah, I want to close a deal, but you're stuck with that person. You're stuck with that person if you bring them on board. So I always let them know. I think up front, being very open with franchisors about what you want to do for them is important. I also think franchisors need to be very respectful of what consultants are trying to do. And I also believe that since consultants see so many different brands and speak with so many different franchisors, that there is some information and some experience there that perhaps could help a franchisor. I'm not sitting here saying we're the messiahs and we know everything. We certainly don't. But sometimes I see things that somebody else has done that's been very successful, and I will share it with a ZOR if they want to hear it. I'll suggest, hey, this is what this person's doing. So I think having open lines of communication. I could sit here and say, well, make sure you copy the email threads and text me when things are going on, and I'll do vice versa. That's pretty much got to happen. But in terms of the relationship and the communication, it starts with the excitement and the respect between the two parties going forward, so that we understand the goal of what we're trying to do. And it's very fun to work with franchisors. I will just leave it at that. It is a lot of fun to work with the different franchisors.
Love it. Awesome. The last question here is a little more broad. What would you say winning looks like for you as a franchise broker?
I'd say when I make a change to something that I'm doing, and it's real easy. 6 years as a consultant is a lot in this industry. I was 30 years with Domino's. That was a lot, but 6 is probably like 15 in the franchising world. Um, so you tend to think you know everything, and even though you admit that I don't know everything, you kind of think you got it figured out. Um, I get super excited when I try something new that I change within my day-to-day routine, and it could be anything. It could be something to do with an email, or the timing of a text, or the opening of a conversation with a candidate. Anything. When that works, when that makes a change, when that moves the needle, that's when I get excited, because I know I'm going to close deals. What I'm trying to do is make incremental changes to close more, and that's what we're all trying to do. Let's be honest. So to me, if I make a change this far into this, if I can change something that makes a positive influence on my business, that to me is the biggest win of the day. Obviously, we all get excited when we close deals, but you have to keep getting better. So moving the chains and getting better at what I do is what absolutely gets me the most. That's the biggest win.
Love it. Well said. Well, great. Thank you so much, Matt. This was perfect. We appreciate you chatting with 1851 Franchise today.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much for calling me, and I'm very honored to get a chance to talk to you all. Thank you.